need to get to the trees to break up some of this wind. Decelerate as we go further down. Wow. It's very steep. A lot of volcanic rock. We almost made it there, but the weather is a hamper. Stop, guys. I gotta take some cream on my legs. I can't feel my legs, man. I'm losing my legs. I can't even walk. Oh, my hamstrings. Oh, the spasms. Oh, oh man, going down's worse than I thought. Give me a few seconds, man. Oh, shit. Okay. In the woods, heading into the canyon. This wind's ridiculous. I can't even hear myself think, it's so high. It was all nice today until now. I don't even know the name of the peak. There's so many, there's like 30 different peaks here. I'll have to look which one, but this is a prominent peak that overshadows Kings Canyon. Very ancient, the natives would traverse this peak. Cannot see nothing. Just woods upon woods upon woods. When all else fails, I got my Pepsi with sugar. Always drink your Pepsi with sugar on your hike down. It's one of my favorite parts of hiking. We have nothing but woods. Woods and more woods. Can't even see where we're going. Into the woods. Like the movie Into the Woods. Except this is not a damn musical. This is the real thing. We're in the woods and any beast at any time could jump out. If we keep heading towards Hobart, you know what roams up there at night. It's a creature that can leap. And when it stands, it's 8 feet tall. You don't want to see that thing at night. So we need to be cautious and we need to get out of here in time. Because when that thing starts lurking, we may not be so lucky next time. My phone has broke, so we have no way, no ride. We are stuck in Kings Canyon. We can't even call for a pickup at the bottom. We're going to have to walk to Carson City and use a payphone. It's all we have. Big gaping canyon coming up. Going down is worse than going up. My knees feel like they're bruised. But this is really a tale about two brothers. Two brothers hiking together. You know, spring or summer break is up, and these boys are off from school, and we're just enjoying the outdoors as a family. Every family should enjoy the outdoors. This is harsh terrain, and you're going to get cut up and scraped up. But you know what? It's a bonding experience with your sons, your daughters, and the views are great. This is a very commendable hike. Very, very admirable to actually climb up here without any trails into the wilderness, and then to work our way off the mountain with no trails. It's like an obstacle course. And you know we're going to have to go through brush, and this stuff just cuts you up. Just cuts your legs. I got a million cuts on my legs. But we'll make it. We'll be home in time for supper, one way or another. Alright, things are getting a little hairy. It's time to make our way down to Eagle Valley and Washoe Valley. We're kind of on the borderline of both. Like I said, obstacle course, man. But we will make it. We'll survive. I will survive. I will survive. It's like that song, hey, hey. Coming down off the mountain. It's not a joke. Over many peaks and ridges to get back to this particular peak. Through brush, up slopes. Broke my phone. It happens. It's a mistake that's going to cost me. Maybe we'll see Bigfoot on the way down. You could see why there's missing people up here. So you can kind of consider this a little reconnaissance mission, because we're always looking for those who vanished. And this is a good area to start. We may never know what happened. Did Bigfoot get him? Did that creature on 4 legs that leaped and stood up at 8 foot tall, did that get him? These monsters gotta eat. Monster hunting can result in death, whether you like it or not. It's very dangerous. Now with my kids and me together, we're a pretty strong group. They could hike out if something happened, because I would never let nothing happen to them, and they know how to get out of here. They don't even need traps. I taught them well. But that doesn't mean there aren't creatures up here that won't hurt me, or I won't become one of the vanishing, because I'm the threat, not my kids. You know, I'm the guy that could fight like a warrior and give something a really hard time if it was dangerous. So I gotta watch my back the whole way up. But I'm done filming for now. I'll film more when we get to the road, or at least a road, dirt road, and we get down a little further. We have a couple thousand feet to make our way to the bottom of Kings Canyon. Ash Creek Meadows. There's a lot of different areas up in here. Right now, this is just a very thick, lush forest. Anything could be here. Something could stand up and stare at us anytime. You got to run the film and have the camera ready. Now people get an idea of the type of work we do. They get some hands-on work through our films and see that this is not like finding Bigfoot. We actually do go out into the wilderness for many miles. We don't have an accessible vehicle. We were dropped off. We don't have amenities. We have nothing but the gear on our back. And a lot of mountains, a lot of ridges, mountains ahead of us before we even get to the bottom of Kings Canyon, which means going through bear, mountain lion, brush, around cliffs. It's not going to be a pretty adventure, but we will get out of here in one piece as we descend onto Carson City. Oh yeah, here's the great stuff that cuts us up. Let's try to go around it if we can. Ow! I'm bleeding as it is. Yeah, my legs are bloody. A true grit. A true pardon my French, a true grit paranormal investigator can endure anything, including this. Every time I get cut, it just makes me turn into the Hulk even more. I'm like, oh, I'm cut up, I'm ready to hike. I'm ready to eat tacos for dinner. Whoa, I just had my hat stolen from me by the tree. Cramps are so painful in my legs. They feel like a ton of bricks, like there's bruising in the inside of my groin. I can barely walk. Once my legs get 100 cuts on them, my legs go into a state of shock. And it's so terrible. You can barely even walk. But there's nothing else we can do but work our way off the mountain. But I want people to know we do this for our fans, man. Our camera breaks down, we improvise. I don't have a camera. I'll take all the pictures off the HD video that I took today, all the clips, and I'll make pictures with them. Because our camera broke as soon as we got here. Can't count on Best Buy to fix shit. Pardon my French, but Best Buy is getting to be ridiculous. They keep sending me back cams with problems every time, and I'm sick of it. It's like, if you really tested the cam, you'd know this feature and that feature's not working. They're not running it through any test. They're just fixing the problem, sending it back, and it's got another problem because they went inside the motherboard and fucked with it. Now here's a little trail that goes all the way across the ridge and down. So yes, look, looks like wood boards. Look at that. Wow. I just heard a loud booming sound. I have no idea what it was, but this trail is very steep. It's an animal trail or maybe a horseback trail. But we can see Carson City and Kings Canyon through the trees. And it is getting closer, which means we're really descending fast. This expedition is just it's a very costly one. Like I said, I lost my ring, broke my phone, ripped my shirt. It's a costly expedition. But did we do it? Yes, we didn't get to Snow Valley Peak. That's because, like I said, a storm's coming in, clouds are coming in, we're running out of daylight. We did make it to one of the peaks that I did want to stand on. There was this peak. It's visible from all of Carson City. It's extremely tall. It's volcanic rock. And we managed to go all the way to the top of the peak. But the winds were 40 miles an hour. So we took a few pics, had lunch, and got the hell off. Because that's about all we can do. There's nothing more we can do. Except go downhill and just try to get off the entire mountain. Get off the Sierras back down to ground level where Carson City is, and just walk that lonely road until we find someone's phone we can use, or hitchhike, or catch a cab. They have cabs if you get to Carson. But we'll figure something out. This is not a typical trail that we're on either. We're very prepared. Tripod, blankets. You never know if you get stuck up here, end up with a serious injury, you have to put a blanket down and spend the night until you can get help. So we always come prepared. Always. You can see through the trees just a smidge of Carson City. Just a hint of it in the Pine Nut Mountain Range. So, long ways to go. Miles to go. And nowhere to go at this time and point in time. Just descend off the mountain. Nothing's really even marked. They have a few ribbons in the trees. But like I say, the forestry may be putting in a trail here or clearing it, and that's why. I have not seen any big footprints, but I'll tell you what. The mutilation was really unique. No teeth marks. Just looked like the body was neatly piled, or the carcass had pilings, like something was dining there and piled each leg and jawbone and body parts on top of each other very neatly, like I said. It's kind of strange. Then again, this is a strange place, and it's known for its paranormal. That's why I have to look at my video footage, because sometimes when you're filming you get UFOs. We never made it to Lake Tahoe or Martlet Lake, But like I say, it's an admirable hike. When you start from the bottom of Carson City and you work your way up to one of the tallest peaks visible in Carson City, that's a feat. We climbed that mountain, we rock climbed, and we climbed straight up that mountain for 3 hours, man. Just to get to the summit. Just to look for the paranormal. It was like very commendable. Just a great hike. We cut our legs up really bad, but you know, I wouldn't pass this time up with my sons for the world. I'm glad that they get to experience the woods like this above Carson City. This is a lost world. Just a couple miles above Carson City. And you know, the shelter was tampered with. Ever since I put on my site, looks like humans been going there and partying and everything. We're not going to get any hair samples, and Bigfoot's no longer going to use it. People have ruined it. They've destroyed it. That does not mean that Bigfoot at one time or another did not use that encampment or shelter. We did what we had to do. We followed up on the Bigfoot shelter. It still stands. The wood is much further aged. It's getting dark. I love dark, creepy woods. It's where you find all the monsters looking at you. Bigfoot could be up in a tree and you would never even know unless you looked up. It's good to always have the camera rolling. My goal is always to get Bigfoot on film, not just see it. Anybody could see it if you go deep enough into the woods, but to physically get HD quality film of this thing lumbering along would be absolutely stellar. Scientifically, you could study the biceps, the muscle, the movement of the legs. It could be a very big learning tool in the cryptozoology community. So what we do, we work hard for you guys. We work hard for the Paranormal Ghost Society on Google and on our Facebook and our website, www.paranormalghostsociety.org. We host nature pictures, paranormal pictures, strange things, videos, history, write-ups, black and whites, scenic photos, adventure pics, team photos, just a little bit of everything. And that's what makes our site unique, as we cover a little of everything, because we're more than a paranormal group, we're an adventure group. Therefore, we venture into the wilderness and we see what we can find. We found everything from caves to hermit dens to things that are paranormal. And the only reason why we ever found those things is because we dare to venture off the path. The offbeat path is where it's at. When the pavement ends, the adventure begins. We're in the mountains. We cannot see anything anymore. Just woods around us and trees and pine cones. But we can't see any more Carson City. There's about 3-4 peaks in front of us. We got to maneuver around. We can't see nothing. So it's kind of like a guessing game as to where to go. But we know that descending down will get us closer to Kings Canyon, and we could just hike out of here and decide where we go next, or how we're going to get home. Even if that means calling a friend or something from a payphone, we'll do it. I'm out of here. I'll keep the camera rolling if anything jumps out at me. It's better than trying to push through red brush and have your legs bleed onto your socks on the ground. This is your founder, Lord Rick. Oh yeah. Used to be a ton of sawmills and historic sites up here, including a ghost town a couple miles from here which no longer exists. So this is old country. You may even have pioneer ghosts that haunt these woods. I'm filming, guys.
There's owls.
There's owls? There's always owls. There's lots of owls that live up in this lower Sierras. I've seen them in the trees before. Yep. They look down at you. Hoo, hoo. Lord Rick, Lord Rick. Let's descend off the mountain, baby. And life will get a lot better. Is this all wet? Oh, man. Time to get my feet wet for the third time today. Unless we can go around this.
Oh my god.
Not just a job. It's an adventure.
Oh, son. How did you do that?
Like this.
Oh, let's go in. Oh, you're not supposed to ride on me.
I made it, didn't I? Look, the creek's flowing all the way down, guys.
How's that, man?
Here we go. Say cheese, Jared. Cheese. All right. Good job, guys. We're below actually the ridge that covers Kings Canyon, the mountains. This should take us right out to the road or a parking area. There's a couple parking trailhead areas. This is the upper trailhead below. So if we get to there, we could just walk the road. Do you know what I found in the woods, guys? 3 or 4 flat wooden boards. Somebody had something built out here, made out of wood.
Well, they're trying to make this into a usable trail.
It's quite possible, but the wood was like 100 years old, man. It was split, it was dry. Those boards had to be from 100 years ago. There was ranches, sheep and cattle ranching down in the canyon. I'm sure that it extended up into the mountains.
Excuse me?
You're excused. I see Kings Canyon to our right. We're getting lower and lower. We're making our way out of here. This is exciting, guys. I sense tacos in my future with some Spanish rice in the next few hours, if not less. I am Bigfoot. My friend says I'm Bigfoot in a past life. That's why I have dreams about being Sasquatch in the woods, and that's why I act like one, climbing everything and hooting and hollering and going off into the woods on no trail. And even this is not really a feasible trail, but we'll use it. Look at all the red flowers. All them red flowers. This is gorgeous country. People don't understand that Carson City extends all the way to Lake Tahoe. Everybody's like, oh, you live near Tahoe? Yeah, I do. Because part of Lake Tahoe is part of Carson City also. And a lot of people just don't realize it. The whole region is very large. It's also a lot of remote. It gets remote real fast. And like I said, one mistake. It only takes one mistake for things to go from bad to worse. And here we have these big dark thunder clouds coming in. You know, that's lightning, rain, equipment getting wet, flash flooding where everything gets muddy. It could turn into a dangerous situation. So we have to get out of here. I always make sure my kids are safe, even if we're doing some really extreme hiking. Always make sure my members, my investigators, and my kids and my family are always safe when they come out with me. Because I plan the expeditions, and I study maps and decide, hey, this is where we're going in the wilderness, this is where we'll probably come out, somewhere down in here. And it works, and it's worked for many years. A lot of planning, a lot of research. It's part of being an adventurer and paranormal investigator. Study, 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 study. Because studying is going to get you off the mountain and home and dinner for time. You're not going to be stuck up there for 2 nights wondering where the hell you are or where you're going. Right?
Yeah.
There you go. Good job, guys. But in about 10 minutes we'll break, okay? Once we see Carson, we'll break. All right, folks. When I explore these mountains and these woods, I always come across something strange. For example, this bench. What? Is there? The sun's still shining. There's wood back here, guys. Hold on. There's a pile of wood. There's a fire pit. This is somebody's little camp spot back in here, man. Look at all these purple flowers. These are rare flowers. You do not see these very often. Look. Look at that. Grates for cooking. Piles of wood like they had another picnic bench. Someone hauled this up here and built this. They may have even off-roaded back here. So there's a road coming up. We'll just follow the overgrown road. It should lead us out to Kings Canyon somewhere along the line.
If I get the electron together.
Looks like an antenna with the little light attached. This might have been the forestry's camping area to watch for forest fires. Well, you have an antenna, you have a picnic bench, you have a little campfire area, and then you have this road which goes out to the canyon.
Right there that we can not jump.
Yeah.
Look, see.
If there was a canyon, I'd like to see the footage, see if Bigfoot came through here, right?
Yeah.
You look thrilled. I need my hoodie, just like you. We be twins.
Oh no.
Twins. Never tell a teenager you're going to be his twin. Because teenagers, the first rule of teenagers is I will not be the twin of my father. Right?
Exactly.
Even though we're almost around the same height and look alike. We do look alike.
Yeah, we do look alike.
I just don't want broken
I see you shake your head. Tammy says you look like me. At least when you were 10 years old. Now that you're becoming...
You look like a baby.
No. She's in my kid pictures and said, yep, you and Oz look the same.
Yeah, you look like Buck.
This little camping spot, guys, above Kings Canyon. Let's see if we can find another Bigfoot shelter. That'll really make my day. Story about two brothers walking down the road less traveled above Carson City, the Silver State's capital. And you know, I have to say Carson City, in my opinion, is an all-American city. People are very nice. Everybody likes to fine dine, go wine tasting. It's a quaint town with a lot of beautiful old trees, some of them dating back 300 years ago. A lot of scenic views, a lot of good hikes, a lot of bike trails, bowling, comedy events. It's a very diverse town. Very hip, a lot of hippies, a lot of 420 advocates, people who smoke weed. It's a culture, it's a lifestyle. And in my opinion, I think most people should indulge. If they, you know, there's nothing wrong with having the best marijuana strains and sitting back with a cup of coffee and a joint and just rolling one and going hiking. I mean, everybody's so chill and laid back. A lot of people smoke, they party, they like the outdoors and off-roading and camping with Lake Tahoe so close. It truly is a really amazing city. You have politics, some pretty wonderful events. The parade's phenomenal, the fireworks show is phenomenal because it's the state capital. So there's a lot of effort put into this town. It's clean. It's not like other cities. You're not going to see junk on the streets. We have a long ways to go. Carson City's through those trees. It's still miles away. But at least we're descending and we're no longer pushing through brush or dealing with some of the hardships we dealt with earlier. All we have to do is continue down the road, and we don't know where it's going to come out. We know where Kings Canyon is in Carson City. We get views through the trees, but we still have to find a means to get out of here. And we have to make sure we get out within a half mile of our drop-off location, because I'm telling you, we could end up a few miles off course and then have to even do more hiking at the bottom that we didn't plan for, as if we haven't gone miles today. We've climbed for miles, ascending, miles upon miles to ascend to that peak. So you have to understand that going uphill for miles, for thousands of feet, is very admirable, and it takes a lot of patience and work, and there is no easy way when you paranormal investigate. It is what it is. I don't even know where this dirt road leads. It just keeps descending down into the lower foothills of Carson City. There's a lot of dirt roads and trails like that. You just got to explore. I don't have a problem hiking down the road. We worked hard to get to the summit today. I thought we were climbing to Snow Valley Peak, and it turns out that Snow Valley Peak was near us, but not close enough. And the winds were 40 miles an hour. We had the book. That's the problem. You can always plan to climb a peak, and if it doesn't go your way, there's 100 other peaks around you that you can climb. This peak, you know, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but this peak is very important. We hike to the top because below it, or in the area, I'm not going to tell you where, but near that peak is signs of Bigfoot evidence. So of course we had to go to the summit. Now if we could have made it to Snow Valley, that would have been great. But we don't have time on our side. And with all the brush we cut through, and I got all torn up, we just couldn't make it. I'd have loved to have seen Tahoe today. But you know, I've climbed the many peaks in this area and have seen Tahoe. Living near Tahoe, I see it all the time. It's nicer when you can climb a peak and see such a sight. And sometimes you get to a peak and you're like, oops, we have a couple more peaks till we see Tahoe. And we had gotten to the top and still didn't see Tahoe, but I'll tell you what. One of the best views of Carson City is from the peak we stood on today. I'm not going to complain or kick a gift horse in the mouth. The peak was 120% worth standing on. The view of Eagle Valley and Carson City was phenomenal. You could see the whole city. You could also see other towns. Seen Mount Rose and Slide Mountain, and hiking halfway up, I also seen Job's Peak, Frill Peak. Those are wonderful snow-covered peaks. So today we've seen a lot of scenery. We've seen deer, a very odd insect, a lot of different flowers I've never seen up here hiking my first time. We examined the Bigfoot shelter encampment, which humans have gone in and trashed it. It wasn't like that a year ago when nobody knew about it. So you can see what humans do. They have no respect for anything. Anything, people, places, or things. Let's keep going, guys, so we can use a phone and get out of here. All right, folks, we're getting into the foothills. Still very woodsy. Pay attention for any Bigfoot up in the mountains. This is the time they come out, right before the sun goes behind the mountains. They get set to kind of hunt around. I'm sure the wind's kind of, well, it's blowing east, so they can't catch us downwind if they're behind us or up on the mountains. But they certainly, if they have good hearing, they could hear us and hide or watch behind a tree, and we would never even know it. Look, it starts to go right, guys, towards Kings Canyon. This is good. This is real good. Story about two brothers. You know, some days they could tear each other's heads off, and other days they're just best of friends, man. And I'm glad I have custody. I'm glad they live with me, because they really need each other. They really do. They're great kids. I taught them everything I know, and they can survive. They can survive in these mountains. If anything ever was to happen, they could actually come up here and they know where they could hide, survive, or remain unseen. And you know, we have a bow and other weapons, so they could actually get water out of the creek, hunt, build a fire, and pretty much remain safe if they had to. That's why I take them out, because I'm trying to teach them about life and strengthen their hiking skills and outdoor skills. That's what a good dad does. If I find anything interesting, I'll film it. We might beat the storm, because it's going to rain soon. It's getting really dark and cloudy. You don't want to be caught up here in a storm, man. There's nowhere for us to hide. These trees hardly have any cover on them. Well, we're getting pretty low. I'd say maybe another mile or so, we should almost be out at the road. I filmed their journey going to the top, and I filmed their journey heading down. So that's good. I always tell people that these films are more like my diary.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't always have to find Bigfoot in my films. I just have to show that I've putting in field work and time. You don't find Bigfoot unless you put in field work. You know, because I talk to other professionals in the field who look for Bigfoot, and we always say the same thing. If you don't put in the time, how can you expect to find new creatures on Earth? Cryptids. You know, like new bird species, fish species, plant life, Bigfoot, flying creatures, monsters, things from other worlds. The best way to find them is to physically go out there and do it. Straight ahead's the top of Sea Hill. And the Sea Hill to the road is 500 feet, 600 feet. But we're higher up along the road, so it won't be as much of a climb down. If we come out at the top of the road, we just walk down the road. Wow. Good job. At least we found the mutilation. That was a pretty good find. There was no animal bites on that. So something peeled the skin off, ate the meat, and left the body, let the bones stack nicely. That tree's marked. Wow. There's Sea Hill. No, that's Hobart. This is Kings Canyon down here. And remember that house that's over there? There's the road. See it down there? That goes right out to the Carson City. Nice. High five. Good job, man. We all made an effort. All of us. Including your brother. He made a huge effort today. Whoa! What the? What the hell is that thing? Turkey? I filmed them. I got what I could on film. Wow. This is truly the bottom of Kings Canyon. You guys want to cut down there, or do you want to keep taking the road around? Okay, we'll do that. We're coming up on some shelters. I'm not saying Bigfoot built them. But as we've talked with other experts about the Bigfoot encampment, people have said it's one of two things. Either humans built it, or a Bigfoot-like creature could have also built the structure. When you find things like that, you always have to say, wow, whoa, because they're cool finds, even if they're not paranormal. We like to share what we find on our journeys so people can kind of see what the lay of the land's like and what exists out here in the Sierras. The Sierras are very diverse, ranging from high deserts all the way to alpine lakes and streams and rivers and snow-capped peaks. It's a beautiful country here, man. God's country. Lord's country. Lord Rick country. The fire burnt down most of the trees, so these are second and third generation trees. But eventually, this area, after the lumbering 100 years ago, it will recover. It will. It's just going to take another century, another 50 to 100 years, and you'll have a bunch of pine trees all covering this road. We're almost in Carson City. They're obviously not shelters to sleep in, but people may have took the wood around here and piled it up. They're probably going to burn this because they're not putting it near any brush. Of course, with the winds as high as they are, one ember could light this whole place on fire. And of course, there was a helicopter crash about 30 years ago from a careless person. I guess, you know, people have campfires. They don't put pits or put out their fire, and someone was careless. Then again, I've heard that it was lightning strikes. Whatever it may be, the men battling the fire that were flying in a helicopter did die. You know, we must honor them. Crickets are coming out. The sun is setting. It's Lord Rick. Like I said, it's a tale about two brothers. And those are my pride and joy. I love them boys. That's why I take them and teach them things. Take them out. Young and old need to come out with us to learn. They really do. We're approaching Sea Hill. This big massive hill you see in front. On the opposite side is where the American flag is that overlooks the state capital of Carson City, Nevada. Like I said, this is a very patriotic and all-American town. And for my friends, I highly recommend you move to this area. Move out to Gardnerville, Carson City, South Lake Tahoe, somewhere in the area. That way you can join us on these hikes and expeditions. There's hundreds and hundreds of places we go to. Some scenic, tunnels, caves, mines, ghost towns, cemeteries, scenic locations, Bigfoot hotspots, UFO hotspots, places with myth, legend, and lore, some of the most haunted places in the West. How can you go wrong? How can you pass that up? Think about it. This is a safe place to live. If you relocate out here, you could become a permanent member of our paranormal team. And I'll tell you what, it does have its benefits. Besides, you know, burning about 5 pounds on a hike, which I did today. I lost my ring. My fingers became real small. They were swollen, or I'm not saying I'm fat or anything, but my fingers, fingers do get swollen, and that's what happened. I lost a little weight. My ring just fell right off. Wow. Woo! We came 2-3 mountain peaks, 2-3 peaks past the peak you see out in front. All the way over there, but another couple miles. Crazy, huh? Crazy. This is what it's like to hike in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. And as you can see, Carson City right up ahead of us. This is Kings Canyon. Right down in here is Deep Canyon. Is where ranching used to take place in the 1800s. That's where Carson City actually began. There was also a fort that existed down in here, or a military outpost up in the canyon. There's a lot of history. People don't realize it's not just Bigfoot and UFOs. You have some ghost lore back in here too. It's beautiful country. Crickets are making themselves heard tonight. I say tonight because the sun's about to go down and it's going to get real dark back in here. But a lot of vast expanses and open meadows. It's very green and lush. Seen a female turkey. There's a lot of wildlife back here. Carson City it's not a huge place. But it's got about 50 to 60,000 people living here. It's not a major city, but it is the state capital of Nevada, so it's nice and quaint. It's a great town. It's an all-American city, and people should really visit out here. You should come out this way, visit Tahoe, visit all the little towns surrounding Carson. Reno, not too excited about Reno. Even though there's a lot of historical sites and old mansions, just like Carson has many old mansions, Reno has a high crime rate. A lot of sexual assaults, robberies, grand theft. Just a lot of bad things happen. Shootings, stabbings. So I try to stay out of Reno. Just not into the whole major city thing. To hike physically on foot, to traverse towards Carson City from this height, all above it, is really a special treat that we're gonna relish for a long time, me and the kids. This is one of the more ritzy sections of Carson City. People like politicians, senators would own a home like this. Down at the bottom of Kings Canyon. My friend owns one of these homes. Good friend of mine. It's a nice neighborhood in there, and actually I have to say most of Carson's pretty decent. But we're heading down off the road. We'll be entering Kings Canyon very soon. We're very lucky and all due considering that we had found a much easier way down off the mountains. We were at the top of the Tahoe Rim, nearly. Like I said, another peak further and we would have seen Lake Tahoe. It's just not feasible with the storm coming in and the sun going down. We may not find our way off at night and have to spend the night, which isn't a bad thing if you're looking for Bigfoot. I don't know about you, but I got a nice hot meal waiting for me. We did some good work. I'd say out of all the strange finds today, the pile of deer bones was extremely strange. Nothing was scattered. It was neatly piled, like something sat down and just dined away. This is beautiful country back in here. I have no regrets, man. You know, seeing my boys walking side by side down a road less traveled, climbing mountains, helping me find the safest way up, that's some true bonding. That's what being a father is about, and being a leader of our organization is giving other people a chance to prove themselves as well, even your own kids or investigators, to let them lead the investigation. I've always let them, but I've let my kids kind of take over on this one, and they've done a great job. They're ready to move on to the next step. Oh yeah. Some nice country up in here. Once we go to the road straight ahead, we just make a left and take the road out. Stop at my friend's house if possible. There's a parking lot and trailhead up ahead as well. We're coming up actually on the main road. It's called King Street or King Road. It just cuts right down the center of Kings Canyon into this beautiful housing community, which, by the way, some people have ponds and beautiful wood decks. It's a very precious, pretty canyon. The animals come right down to people's homes. People ask, well, how could Bigfoot get a hold of this item or that item? It's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. It can come right down to someone's back patio or wall 3 a.m. and grab food, grab items that it needs. Scavenger. So if it needs something for survival, it's going to grab it. And you'll probably never know at 3 in the morning. These houses don't have fences or anything other than, you know, I mean, their backyards grace the Sierra Nevada mountain range. Look at that. My Jeep is waiting. That's a Jeep, guys. No, it's not our Jeep. That's got a rack on top. I don't think that's ours. It looks like ours, but I don't know. That looks like a Land Rover to me. Let's hope that's a Jeep, so we can just peel out of here, man. The waterfall is here, but we're not going to stop today. We've already been to the waterfall a couple times. The waterfall is a very famous spot. A lot of people come up here. It's like a lover's leap. It's a place where lovers come together and make out and kiss. Teenagers come out here to drink and hang out, and smoke a joint. I mean, it's a really nice place. A lot of butterflies and birds that hang around it as well. We didn't get to go today, but I've been to it a couple times already. So we do have pictures and video on our website if you want to check it out. www.paranormalghostsociety.org. This is Rip. Polga. I don't know if that's someone's pet. I really don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people that have passed away. They found actually a man who went up missing, called for a tow truck or aid, and for some reason mysteriously died. Nobody could find him for a while, and they found him deceased in his vehicle. A hiker did. So you can see there's a lot of offbeat locations up here, and I one time went to a site, I wish I saved it, but it had about 9 missing women and men who went up hiking into this canyon and were never seen again. So you can understand that it's probably not good to hike here by yourself, knowing that, especially with the big mountain lions. And then you have the fact of is that people come up missing because it's so remote, and you know, they fall, they get injured, they have allergic reaction to something, perhaps a bee sting, and they have allergic reaction and die. You just, little things like that. A couple people falling off high heights. There are cliffs and huge rocks. 20 feet you fall, break your neck. Nobody knows where you are. You lay dead and they don't find your skeleton for 3-4 years. Now, some vanishings I can't explain. Aliens, Bigfoot, mountain lions, bear, I don't know. Human factor of somebody possibly killing them. Look at this house. Like I said, there are politician homes here too. There are. Looks like that Jeep took off. I don't know how we're gonna get home. I don't have even a working cell right now. It's pretty sad that my phone busted. Shit happens, right? I definitely need a toke after this. Alright, we're on King Road. The beauty of this hike never ceases to amaze me. This is your founder, Lord Rick. Why don't you ask those people if you can use your cell, dude?